Hi everyone, welcome on board. Today I have with me Apurup here, who is an NMAT topper with a 249 NMAT score, and he's studying in SDA Bokuni Asia Center. So welcome on board, Apurup.
Thank you, Anisha, for the introduction.
I hope I pronounced your name correct.
Yeah, you're one of the few people who got it right in the first book.
Lovely. So it's a very different and a unique name. So what does your name mean actually?
So I'm from Hyderabad. I'm a Telugu person, in which Apurupam stands for special, somebody special. That's why I got the name.
Wow, that's lovely and nice. And then you are the special one sharing your tips and strategies with me and the students out here who are listening. Now, everybody out here is there probably giving NMAT right now in the next 1 or 2 days or in the next 10-15 days. What does you like? How does it feel that at this point of time last year you were also in the same boat giving in exams, and today you're sharing your strategies with these aspirants?
It feels great that I can share my insights with the aspirants right now, because last year I was in their position. I had my CAT debacle, like most people have their CAT debacle on November 29th. Last year was the first time they had changed the format and all that, so it was a little difficult. And then I had given my NMAT on December 17th, if I'm not wrong. I had given only one attempt last year, and I managed to get a score of 249.
Lovely.
I got 72 in quant, I got 86 in language, and I got 91 in logical.
That's really great that in the first attempt itself you got a 249. In fact, this year NMAMS has put a rule that only first attempt will be accepted. So a lot of people are giving the first attempt only. So if I were to ask you, what was your plan of action in the last 10 days before your exam? What was the focus? Was it taking mocks, or was it revising or studying new things? What were you doing?
So in the last 10 days, I took one mock every day. I did not miss out a mock. And NMAT official website has 2 mocks, if I'm not wrong. And those 2 are really helpful because the standards of the question are more or less of that standard. So that becomes essential. Take those 2 mocks. And in the last 10 days, I wouldn't recommend trying to learn more things, trying to increase the knowledge. Rather, just focus on the strengths that you already have. Somebody is good in one thing, somebody is good at the other thing. So just focus on what your strengths are, and just keep practicing the same set of questions that you are already good at, because learning new things in the last 10 days probably wouldn't help anybody out.
Absolutely. So when you were taking mocks, what was your approach with respect to, do you take mocks every day or every alternate day, or at the same time slot as your actual exam? What would you recommend?
So in the last 10 days, I did take a mock every single day in the last 10 days. And I tried to ensure that I took it in the slot that I had, like the time slot, because that also becomes essential. I mean, if you have a time slot in the afternoon, most people are sleepy or just after lunch. So you need to get used to the time in which you need to stay focused for the entirety of 2 hours. So I try to take as many mocks as possible in the given time slot of mine, so that I get used to giving it in that time, and I don't have other things going on in my mind at that time. I don't feel drowsy at the time, or whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, that's very important, because everybody ends up messing it up. Then you're not used to being alert at that particular time slot itself. So that's a very good advice. People who are listening, start giving mocks in your time slot, and then you give mocks and analyze them as well. What was your structure to taking the exam? Like, which section do you prefer to start with, and how do you go about with it?
I personally prefer starting off with the verbal section and then the logical reasoning section, and go to quant in the last. And why I do this is because if you leave verbal for the second or the third stage, you don't feel like reading the reading comprehensions, because they're pretty lengthy, and you're already exhausted by the time you reach quant and reach verbal. And verbal is something that you really need to focus on, because reading comprehensions, they take a lot of your time and they exhaust you mentally a lot. So you need to be in your most active stage while giving verbal, which is why I chose to do my verbal first. And then I went on with logical reasoning, and I put my quant for last, because quant is something that you've been very prepared for. You have a structure in place, you have formulas with you, you know what is to be done when you read the question. So that you wouldn't have to be as active as you would have to be in verbal section. So that is a structure I follow, and I would recommend the same to people as well.
Okay, that's a really good approach to keep in mind for sure. And it helps in the sectional study. Even I recommend giving quants and DI towards the end because it doesn't make it very taxing for you then. So Apurup, here you had a 91 score in LR section, which is like 99 percentile in NMAT, because 91 out of 120 is just amazing. For all the people who are listening to us, what would be your must-do topics for LR section for them?
Specifically speaking about LR, LR is not something very difficult as people think it is. I would say specifically to NMAT, the input-output questions that are there, that is very specific to NMAT, and they are more easier to crack in terms of level of difficulty as other questions. So that is something that you can really focus on, and it's easy to crack. And then almost half of NMAT paper comes from critical reasoning, which is strengthening, weakening, all those kind of assumptions-based questions. So those are also relatively easier, and also the level of difficulty in NMAT LR is lesser than CAT. So if you're prepared for CAT, NMAT should be relatively easier. So you can focus on these topics, which will give you 50% of the questions.
Awesome. That's really great. So guys, please make note of it. This is the 99 percentile telling you what topics to study. I have been also saying these same topics to all of you guys, so do not miss them out for sure now. And thank you so much, Apurup, for spending time with us and sharing your strategies. Wish you all the best further ahead for the completing the first year of life at SDA Bocconi Asia Center, and for the second year where you're going to have a lot of fun in Milan.
Looking forward to it, and thank you for having me here. It's fun sharing my insights. I was in the same position last year, so it's always fun.
Lovely. Thank you so much.